Hey, Radiant Souls, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Heather. I'm an intuitive counselor, author, artist, animal communicator, energy healer, and coach, and I am on a mission to empower and embolden others to connect with their divine radiant light and to honor the sacred connection with all life. One of the ways I do that is with a monthly forecast, and that's what we have coming up in this video for the month of May 2024. So I will also say, if you are coming to this video after that period of time, stick around. There may be something here that you're still meant to see, something that you're resonant with. So it isn't always specific to every single person who watches it to that period of time, 4 weeks. As some of you, I'm sure, know, time is kind of an illusion anyway, but it's how we define. It's one of the rules of the game here in our third dimension. So anyway, if you are saying, oh, I missed it, it's July 2024, or it's 2026, there may still be something here for you. So I would encourage you to stick around for that. So the theme for May 2024 is opacity. So I don't know how many of you maybe have the experience of graphic design or looking at photography or videos, or even just it's pretty prevalent in some of the filters that we use in our world. And that's an interesting thing that we're talking about, filters, but the opacity slider. So opacity is basically the condition of lacking transparency. So transparency is I can see right through something. Opacity is if you put something over in a way that says, I really can't see through there. I don't know what's happening. So the month of May is bringing up an issue of opacity for a lot of us. And one of the other definitions that I found helpful, there were two. One is an obscurity of sense. So just kind of, the way I see it is kind of feeling discombobulated. Like we can't even trust our own senses and the way we are in the world because things feel a little bit bumpy, and the word that's coming up is higgledy-piggledy. So I think that like my British friends will know what that is. A little like wonky, we might say in the States. Obscurity is also the relative capacity of matter to obstruct the transmission of radiant energy. Obstruct the transmission of radiant energy. I start every one of these videos with, hey, radiant souls. To me, radiance and your divine radiant light is your authentic soul, who you are here to be in this moment, in this lifetime, right now. So if opacity is asking us to consider what is obstructing the transmission of that, what is getting in the way of that unique version of you. One of the other aspects of this that's coming up, and I think you'll hear this referred to in the channeling. I just finished it, so I'm filming this piece without really going back to review it, and sometimes I don't remember all that is said while I'm in the channeling state, but fractals versus fracture. So a fractal is a never-ending pattern. Rinse and repeat over and over and over. Fracture is a little piece breaks off here and there. And I do remember the guide saying at some point in the channeling, whether I voiced it or not, that sometimes we have a negative bias toward the word fracture because it can be dramatic, it can be painful, but it can also be necessary for growth, for breaking out of the same patterns. If you're just doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same result. And sometimes when we're on a growth path or a path of expansion, we forget that we also need to change. And sometimes we just want to change. Like it's almost like going to the grocery store and saying, okay, I can eat the food on the top shelf only, but I'm not going to touch anything else. And that's what I'm going with. So sometimes we say, I'm going to change these things only. I'm going to get some new hobbies. But I'm still going to show up in the same way in these 12 other aspects of myself. And maybe what needs to change to really move the needle for you is some of that other deeper stuff. This month is beckoning us and inviting us to look at some of that deeper stuff for ourselves. the stuff that is not as transparent, it's not as obvious, it's a little more opaque. It's covered up. There was also the example during the channeling of a redacted document. And if you don't know what that is, you've probably seen an example of it in a movie or something, where maybe the name, like in a lawsuit, perhaps, the names of someone or some people or some events or circumstances or specifics around something can't be revealed to everyone. Maybe there's not security clearance for it. So you'll see a black bar. It'll have like half a sentence and then there's a big black line and then you get something else. And it's almost like you can't piece together the whole thing because you never get the whole picture. So the guidance is, where are we doing that with ourselves? Where are we putting that like redaction, big black bar, la, 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 la. I'm not going to listen to that bit of myself that is saying I should stop or go or change or move or adjust. And how is that serving us? Like sometimes that's necessary. We don't want to fundamentally not be ourselves, but some of us are clinging to a purported authenticity when really it's just a stubbornness. Think on that for a minute. Are you really being you? Or are you being what is convenient for you and calling that authentic? That's kind of what's being called out this month. And the reason it's being called out this month is because if we're sitting in that energy of the pretend authenticity, then that's what we see reflected back at us in the world. We see more things being opaque, less things being transparent. If we aren't transparent with ourselves, we're not creating an environment in the world for that transparency to occur outside of us. It is more and more important, and we are called to the forefront of change more often now as consciousness is expanding, because we are the creators of that future. So if we are not, in a sense, walking the talk, then we're not really creating what we want to be creating. So those were some of the themes that came up. If you want to watch the channeling, I'm going to put it right after this. And I'll be back at the end to talk about the art that came through for this month. So I will see you after this. Enjoy. Hello, bright and beautiful beings. We thank you for your participation and attention as we share this information with you. We would at this time like to speak about the energy for the upcoming weeks, both in a personal way for you as an individual and in a collective way for you as a species, as a planet, as a collection of souls choosing to have similar experiences. For many of you, the next few weeks will feel like expansion. And we understand that that may be celebrated. And many of you have looked forward to this and you would like to transcend the boundaries of thought and form and ascend, as you would say, and grow. For some of you, expansion at this particular time may feel challenging. It may feel tumultuous. And we do not wish to seed fear within you. We wish to bring you an awareness of how we see things from our perspective. And it is solely our perspective. It is not better than yours. It is just a different view of the playing field, as you may say. But there are many of you who are clinging to an idea of how you should be, how the world should be. And there is a fine line between mapping out a future that you prefer and planting within that future things that you find non-negotiable for yourself. And many of you are clinging to aspects of yourself that are okay to release. But you are trying to bring old versions of yourselves into a new version of the world, and they will be incompatible to one another. So as you navigate through the next few weeks, consider your perspective of yourself, and are you being yourself in an authentic way, or are you being yourself in a way that is based in fear? For many of you say, I cannot change. I don't trust that I would do it well. I have always been this way. People expect me to be this way. And those are all stories you are telling yourself. And there is no judgment upon that. It is, again, just our perspective. Many of you are navigating through challenges related to a diversification and a divestiture of energy, meaning that there are more fractals of your energy, more fractals available in the collective. Even if we look at just the timeline perspective, there are so many new timelines springing forth at this time. And those of you who are energetically aware and sensitive can feel that. You can feel the vibration and the frequency of those, but that can feel a little unsettling because you feel as though you also need to have the details. You feel something should change. What would it be? Why would it be? Who would be there? How would it unfold? And you must move forward without those answers at this point. And that brings us to the theme that we would use to color in the next few weeks, and that is opacity. So opacity is the quality that something has of not being transparent. There is not always transparency in something, and many of you very much prefer that there would be. And fear when you do not have that transparency. And we are saying this is your point of view out into the world. You wish for there to be ultimate transparency in all things, and we would say to you that it is not in your best and highest good for that to be fully exposed, for things to be fully exposed, for there to be that level of ultimate transparency at all times. For in some sense, it would be as if you were being spoon-fed. If you had all of the information all of the time, you would not reach within yourselves. You would not reach out to one another. You would not step forward into a future in a way that lets you build it and claim it. You would feel you were just sliding into it as it was already built. And it is this time, dear ones, where you are the creators. You are the builders of that future. And so if something is being handed to you, if something is being divinely aligned with no sweat equity, as you may say, on your part, nothing that you have done to change or move or adjust your position, adjust your perspective, adjust your filter, which takes us back to the opacity, then things are just being handed to you and you are not coming toward this bright and beautiful future with the energy that claims it for you, that magnetizes it for you, that crafts it and carves it out of a potential timeline. So we would ask that you turn your gaze into yourself and imagine, if you would, the idea of if you've seen a document where things have been redacted, where there have been black lines, half a sentence and then a black line. It looks as if something will be revealed, and then there's a black box obscuring the details. Many of you have that within yourselves, but you have put those black boxes in place for yourself. You have chosen to have a full opacity. I cannot change that bit of myself. I will not look at that bit of myself. And as you cling to that opacity within yourself, that is what you see reflected around you. The more you become transparent with yourself, the more you become translucent and let light shine through those parts of yourselves that you would wish to remain hidden. You bring healing to them. You bring warmth to them. You dissolve them as barriers. And what you will notice in the world around you is that you see barriers start to dissolve there as well. You must act within your own energy in the way in which you wish to see it expressed in the world. This is a time of looking at fractals and fractures. Are you recreating bits of yourself over and over and over as a fractal? This is the me I am. I will be this me again. I will be this me again. I will be this me again. And I expect the world to change. That will not happen. If you cut ties with those bits of yourself that no longer match the frequency of the energy of the world that you wish to see, and in that sense, a fracture in a very healthy way. We know that the term fracture can feel very jarring to some, but a fracture of a fractal. And in that way, you realign, you reposition, you set your sights and your energy and your goals towards something that is more aligned. But you must adjust yourself. You must change within your own energy and understand that the bumpiness and the chaos that you see around you can look fearful, can look threatening, can look troubling, can look dark. That is the filter that you choose to apply to it. You can also see within that opportunity at every turn. Opportunity to rebuild, opportunity to restructure, opportunity to recycle, opportunity to renew something within yourself, which then renews something within the world. We would share with you at this time an exercise that you can do to help move through some of those bits of yourself that are stuck in stagnant energy, stories that you are holding on to, things in the world that you feel you must have proven, you must have certification for, you must know the truth. There is no one single truth. There are many truths. And when you seek to have your own validated, you may find that is not the best use of your energy. For in needing to have yourself validated, you are innately and inherently doubting yourself. If you believe, you believe without proof. If you have faith, you have faith without proof. And you walk as if that is the story that is true. So to look for and identify these areas within yourself, we would say watch the thoughts that come up in the way in which you view others around you. Do you have a filtering system in place where immediately you categorize that is not for me, that is for me, that is wrong, that is right, that is useful, that is not of use? Are you sorting things out in a polarized way, in a duality way? That is attaching you to a world that is filled with polarity and duality. Are you allowing a full spectrum of light, a full spectrum of transparency to opacity, and accepting all of it as part of the journey, as part of the lesson plan, as an opportunity? And it is one thing to apply this collectively. It is another to apply it within yourself. So just examine that within yourself. Am I immediately applying my perspective, my filter on something that I'm witnessing? Is that serving me? You may find that it is, and that's okay. But you may find that you are in a way coloring the page before it has even turned. And you are coloring it with the colors that you feel it should have instead of letting it unfold for itself and seeing beauty and possibility and opportunity that you could not even imagine or dream of. So allow yourself to not feel limitation, and allow yourself, those of you who are energetically sensitive at this time, you will also potentially feel some surges of energy and some drop-offs of energy, some highs and some lows in a very profound way. Honor your body in those times to the best of your ability. If it feels that you are depleted, seek out rest, seek out nourishment. If it feels that you have an uptick of energy, find a way to apply that for yourself. Create something. Move energy through your body in a way that feels healthy for you. For this is also a period of time where you are becoming more acclimated to being creators. And being a creator is feeling, seeing, sensing an idea, a feeling, a thought, translating it through you and putting it out into the world. So when energy feels stuck within the body, creation does not occur. So this is a time to understand how to work with and move energy as well. There is much beauty coming. There is much beauty that you can create. There is much that still, as you would say, needs improvement in your world. And we would say all of that is in perfect and aligned timing for who each of you are in this moment. So sit in a space of gratitude and anticipation with a willingness to, as you would say, do your part energetically and understand what note it is that you play in the overall orchestra. And enjoy the beautiful melodies that come your way in the next few weeks. Thank you for your attention. And thank you for shining. And be blessed. And we're back. Hello, welcome. I know it's me and then it's not me, but it's kind of me and now it's me again. That's how it goes over here. Just looking through my notes to see what else maybe came up for me in kind of the dry run or the dress rehearsal before I go into the channeled state. I get bullet points of what the team is going to bring up, but I don't get the whole thing. So definitely yes for the fractals versus fractures. I also have something written down here that says fract becomes fact. So if you're just rinse and repeating those aspects of you, you're really just writing it in. You're almost making it like a groove on a record that gets replayed over and over. And then the other thing that's written down here is the word obscuration. So obscuration. What are you curating to be obsolete? What parts of yourself can you kind of say, thank you, you served me really well up until now. Now I need to go a different direction, or I need to change things just a little bit and slide that opacity slider a little bit to bring more transparency to those areas so that they can be healed. Okay, so the art for the month of May 2024, going with the theme. This is the artistic depiction of the frequency of opacity. So I like that it kind of even looks like sliders that are letting more and more light through or not. There are those fractals of something going back and forward, and maybe you're stepping out of them, maybe you're repeating them. So let me know what you think, what you see in the art. I always love hearing the feedback there. So I hope that you found this information helpful. Let me know what you thought in the comments and enjoy your journey through the month of May. I will see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.